It's been a little while since we've had a press conference, and I think this is an important occasion to do it because New Bedford's cultural community is so important not only to New Bedford's economy, but also to the city's culture, to the region's culture, to its sense of identity. And so, today as we mark the reopening of our cultural institutions, it's worth taking stock of what they do for us, but also what lies ahead. The institutions collectively, and so many of them are represented here today. Of course, the museum under Amanda's and Tony Sapienza's leadership, which have been really terrific during a very difficult time. Very creative leadership, very optimistic leadership, which is absolutely necessary. But as I look around the group here gathered, we have the leaders of so many of the other major cultural institutions in a city that is so rich with them. And I do want to name them because it is important. So Third Eye Unlimited, HA, of course, the HEAL is here, the Community Foundation, UMass Dartmouth College of Visual and Performing Arts, DATMA, the Fishing Heritage Center, the New Bedford Art Museum, the New Bedford Historical Society, the New Bedford Port Society, the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra, the Roachstone's Duff House, and again, the Whaling Museum. You guys have really hung in there, and ordinarily this time of year we see thousands of people streaming through your doors to enjoy the story of New Bedford and all of its facets. And what we haven't been able to do that this summer in earnest, and of course throughout the rest of the summer we'll be somewhat limited. But today we mark the occasion of being back in business, and that's something worth celebrating. It is required a good deal of toughness and resilience and creativity and doggedness on the part of every single one of these institutions. But now we can start bringing people back, and so let the word go forth that New Bedford's cultural sector, its art sector, is back in business. We have, over the last few months had to adjust some very basic habits, and there will be adjustments that will need to be made in how we interact with all of our institutions. If you go to the city's website or the state's website, you'll see a number of the restrictions that are in place, properly in place to ensure social distancing and public health in the facilities. There are limitations on capacity and mask wearing, and as well as recommendations concerning disinfection and cleanliness that all these institutions will follow for sure. And I know, just knowing the leadership here, that it'll work really well. You guys are so on top of things. It's going to continue to take a while. A lot of you get some of the the messaging that we put out through, whether it's through robocalls or through traditional media or social media. At once, we have to be, we have to work together to get everything functioning again. Our institutions, to get people back to work, we have to ensure that that things are running to the greatest degree possible, consistent with the requirements of public health. But that means at the same time that we have to be vigilant. And so that doesn't mean we have to be hysterical. It's not going to be a hairs on fire approach, but we do understand that we are at the tail end of the first surge. We hope there isn't a second surge, but we do call it the first surge because that implies that there could be a next one, and we'll be more ready for it when it happens. We have in place in the city, a fairly robust detection system. We have stockpiling PPE. We're building up our testing capacity. And we understand how to do this, and as well as a communication system that allows us to get people to understand the work we're in, but we shouldn't be under any illusion that we're done with the pandemic. At the same time, and it just really bears emphasizing, you can't hunker down. That's not the way to deal with it. We adjust. That's different from hunkering down. Hunkering down means you stop. And the world hasn't stopped for the pandemic. All of the institutions that we're talking about today, the city itself, all of us have to understand that we will get through this at some point, and we have to be in a better position to do what we ordinarily do after that. You know, we have to continue to grow. We have to continue to execute on our mission. And so, you know, this is really an exercise in walking and chewing gum at the same time. We've got to deal with the pandemic, but we also have to look long term. And as we tighten our belts, because we have to, in some ways, we also have to look for growth and investment in the future. So the city will be doing that, and there'll be more to come on that for sure in the next few weeks as we look at things like municipal budgets and as we look at investments in the city. But I think the same goes for all of our cultural institutions and all the cultural institutions in the city and many others. And I want to thank all of you for your work and your foresight and your willingness to work together. We are here to support you, and we've done that. We will continue to do that, especially during this more difficult time. So I want to thank all of you for the work that you're doing, and I will just say to everybody, come out and see all of New Bedford's great stuff. Come here to this museum. Come to the Bethel, the Fishing Heritage Center. Go to all the art museum. All the ones I listed. They're open for business. Please check them out. It can be done safely. It can be done enjoyably. And if you have to wear a mask, that's okay. It's becoming like tying your shoe. It's just a thing you do during the day that over time you won't even think about. It does make a difference.